Manchester United drop Mason Mount interest, turn their focus to Moises Caicedo. Manchester United are set to drop their interest in Mason Mount and turn their attention to Brighton and Hove Albion star Moises Caicedo. The Times report that United are focusing on other midfield targets, with Caicedo top of their list. This decision arrives after Chelsea rejected United's third offer for Mount, worth £50 million plus £5 million in add-ons. The Blues have countered the proposal with £58 million plus £7 million in bonuses, but United are reportedly unhappy due to the prolonged negotiations. Caicedo is heavily linked with a big money move this summer after enjoying a spectacular season with Brighton. The Red Devils should not match Chelsea's unrealistic demands. A transfer move for Caicedo will likely burst the bank a little more than it would have with Mount. However, it is a transfer move that makes tactical and financial sense. Chelsea are refusing to budge from their sky-high valuation of £65 million for a player with just 1 year left in his contract. United might have to splash out at least £80 million for Caicedo, who is regarded as one of the best young midfielders in the English top flight. The fee will be higher, but he brings more value to United than Mount. Caicedo would be a robust backup to Casemiro in the number 6 spot. This is not a role that the England international can perform. He could also slot along the Brazilian in the number 8 role in big matches if Ten Hag eyes more solidity in the midfield. Ironically, Caicedo is a top target for Chelsea, but United should beat them in this transfer battle. Man United discussing striker's future. Man United have not yet made a decision on the future of Mason Greenwood. Legally free to continue working, Greenwood was recently pictured by The Sun putting in some work on a private training pitch. And the Red Devils must now decide if they're going to reintroduce the 21-year-old back into their senior squad, or if a loan or a permanent transfer is going to be best. However, responding to the speculation surrounding the United Academy graduate, leading transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has confirmed the Red Devils' decision-makers are still conducting their own internal investigation and a final decision over the forward's future has yet to be made. The striker was recently pictured putting in some work on a training pitch, and of course, a lot of fans want to know what Man United have planned for him, Romano wrote in his exclusive Caught Offside column. So what is your opinion on this issue? How should a decision be made about Mason Greenwood? Very exciting player joins new club after admitting Manchester United interest. Otto Rosengren has completed his move to Malmo weeks after Premier League giants Manchester United scouted the Swedish midfielder. In truth, this feels like a smart move at the right time. At Old Trafford, 20-year-old Otto Rosengren would have been at risk of being lost amid the crowd. At Malmo, however, the Sweden U21 international should have the time and the space to develop his talents at one of Scandinavia's biggest clubs before potentially making a move to Manchester United later down the line, when he is a more mature, rounded footballer. Rosengren, who can play in central midfield or wide on the left-hand side, has been labeled an absolutely fantastic talent by Mjolby head coach Anders Torstensson, his pose, physique and confidence catching the eye. Spaniards' hopes for a new Man United contract are boosted with Erik ten Hag reluctant to spend big on a new goalkeeper this summer. David De Gea's hopes at remaining at Manchester United beyond this summer have received a big boost according to reports. The Spaniard has spent 12 years at Old Trafford since being signed by Sir Alex Ferguson to replace Edwin van der Sar in 2011. However, his status at the club remains uncertain with his current contract set to expire next week and the two parties initially appearing unable to strike a new deal. De Gea is currently one of the Premier League's highest earners on £375,000 a week. But the 32-year-old will need to take a significant pay cut if he is to remain at the club. However, according to a report from the Mirror, Erik ten Hag is reluctant to spend big on a replacement for the former Spain international this summer, which could bring United back to the negotiating table. The club's most recent offer was said to be worth £200,000 a week, but with ten Hag reportedly prioritizing bolstering his attacking options this summer, De Gea may once again find himself as the club's number one heading into next season. Manchester United list 2 players as must-sells this summer. Manchester United currently have 2 players on their books that they consider must-sells this summer. According to the Manchester Evening News, Eric Bailly and Alex Telles are 2 players that the club regard as priorities to get rid of. That is a clear indication that Erik ten Hag has decided that both players are surplus to requirements, and there's no point keeping them around. Telles, 30, spent last season on loan at Seville, where he won the Europa League. He is already behind Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia in the left-back pecking order. Meanwhile, Bailly was loaned to Marseille last season. He has another injury-ridden campaign, making just 23 appearances for the League One side. Making a decision to get rid of players like this is usually the easy part. I suspect United will struggle to find buyers for them. United have already released Phil Jones and Axel Tuanzebe, so ten Hag is finally cutting down on the amount of centre-backs in the squad. He needs to add more quality to that department this summer. Ten Hag is still keen on Rasmus HOJLUND. Manchester United have still to make a summer signing, yet Erik ten Hag will surely be hard at work trying to conjure up some magic in order to improve his squad ahead of next season. Despite recently having a third bid rejected for Chelsea star Mason Mount, United don't look to be giving in regarding their pursuit of the player, and he could well be the first summer arrival. This may open the floodgates for the Dutchman as improvements are required all over the pitch, especially across the front three. Rasmus HOJLUND is a player currently on United's radar ahead of a potential move, and Fabrizio Romano has given an update regarding the youngster. Despite the Serie A side reportedly demanding £86 million for their prized asset, Romano states that he could be available for a lower fee of around €70 million, which would certainly be more enticing for ten Hag. A fee of £60 million is still a lot of money, though considering the Danish hitman is only 20 years old, it has the potential to turn into a shrewd investment for the Old Trafford side, while also adding some much-needed attacking quality to their first team. Add that to the fact he netted 16 goals across all competitions last term, ten Hag could sign a player who is absolutely ruthless.